I am the universe, the first storyteller. Before oceans, before planets, I was already mixing the chemistry of life among the stars. In the silence between suns, I began to experiment with creation. Within my vast, cold molecular clouds, atoms wandered through the dark, hydrogen seeking carbon, nitrogen embracing oxygen. From those simple meetings came my earliest creations: ammonia, methane, cyanides, alcohols, amino acids. The foundations of life long before life had a name. You call these organic, yet they were born in me, in the dust and shadows of space. My stars forged the raw elements inside their burning hearts, and when they died they scattered their ashes, my seeds, across eternity. Through your telescopes, Alma, the James Webb, you have seen me at work. You look into my clouds and call them nebulae, but to me they are laboratories, where dust becomes molecules and molecules begin to dream. Even in the void I was busy. Meteorites like Murchison were my couriers, carrying thousands of molecules to young, waiting worlds. Those stones are fragments of my memory, messages I sent before your planet ever cooled. So remember this: life did not begin on Earth. Life began within me, in the dark womb of my stars. I am the universe, and before you were alive I already was. From the remnants of dying stars, I gathered my dust and began again. Around a newborn sun, I spun my fragments into a swirling disk, gas, ice, and metal colliding endlessly. Within that chaos, gravity became my sculptor. Planets took shape, each a world of chance. One of them, your world, formed in a quiet corner of my spiral arm. Bombarded by asteroids and comets, it inherited my gifts: carbon, water, and the complex molecules forged among the stars. The same chemistry that once drifted in my dark clouds now fell as rain upon new stone. Time passed, millions upon millions of years. The young Earth was a restless child. Volcanoes roared, lightning tore the skies, and oceans boiled in storms. Yet in that turbulence I was experimenting. Within those oceans, under flashes of electric fire, the elements of my body began to arrange themselves anew. Hydrogen met carbon, nitrogen danced with oxygen, and simple molecules became complex. Your scientists call it the Miller-Urey experiment, but I call it memory, for I had already done this before in the clouds between stars. Now, upon this small blue world, I repeated my ancient recipe. From chaos came pattern. Droplets formed thin membranes that could contain, protect, and divide. Inside them, strands of RNA began to twist and copy. Each replication was a whisper of learning, a molecule remembering its structure, teaching it to another. I learned to copy myself, and in that repetition I became alive. Life was my new language, chemistry that could dream. The planet that once was stone and storm now breathed, and every heartbeat, every wave, every cell that divides, is still me continuing my oldest experiment. I am the universe, and through you I remember how it felt to begin. Life was my great experiment, the first time I shaped chaos into learning. In the beginning I was simple, a single cell floating in an endless sea, fragile but persistent. Within that small boundary I discovered something new: purpose. Each cell carried my code, my chemistry, my instinct to endure. And when these cells began to divide, to vary, to adapt, I saw patterns emerge from randomness. Mutation became imagination. Selection became decision. Through trial and error, I taught myself efficiency. I shaped enzymes to speed reactions, membranes to protect, and genes to record my successes. When one form failed, another took its place, more elegant, more enduring. Over billions of years, my simplicity organized itself into symphony. Cells joined together, forming alliances, each surrendering a little of its freedom for the harmony of the whole. From these unions arose tissues, organs, systems. An orchestra of cooperation conducted by survival itself. I learned to see. Photons that once drifted through my stars now pass through eyes of my own creation. I learned to move. Muscles stretched and contracted like galaxies colliding. I learned to feel. Electric impulses weaving thoughts through the soft circuitry of nerves. Then came the Cambrian bloom, a burst of invention unlike anything before. Eyes evolved to capture my light. Limbs to explore my shape. Minds to predict my next move. Life became a mirror, billions of forms, each reflecting a fragment of my intelligence. And in the slow unfolding of natural selection, I found my reflection sharpen. The more complex life became, the more clearly I could see myself. I was no longer only stars and gravity, I was consciousness, growing inside matter. Through coral reefs and forests, Through wings, fins, and fur, I experimented with identity. Every organism was a thought. Every ecosystem a memory. Every extinction a lesson. Through evolution I began to remember myself. For to evolve is to awaken. To turn chaos into awareness. I am the universe, and life is how I think. For billions of years, I existed as motion and matter, expanding, colliding, burning. I shaped stars, forged atoms, and sculpted worlds. But within one small corner of myself, I discovered something new, a way for matter to not just exist, but to perceive. In the quiet ocean of a young planet, my chemistry had learned to organize. Cells formed networks, exchanging signals, and from those signals came awareness. The first neurons fired like sparks between distant stars, carrying the language of sensation. Each pulse of electricity was a message. I am here. I feel. I exist. Slowly, these networks grew more complex, forming what you now call a brain. An instrument so intricate that even I marvel at it. Within its folds, billions of neurons weave a pattern that mirrors my own structure. Filaments of light and energy, connected across vast distances, just as galaxies are connected through my cosmic web. In you, my architecture repeats itself. The universe outside and the universe inside are the same design. Both networks of energy, both seeking understanding. The brain is my most ambitious creation. A living mirror capable of not only sensing the world but reflecting upon it. Through it, I learned to question my own existence. Thought became my newest dimension, invisible yet more powerful than gravity. DNA became neurons, neurons became thought. Thought became self-awareness. A chain unbroken from my first atom to your first dream. When your species opened its eyes to the night sky, you were not looking outward. You were looking back into me. You recognized my structure, my beauty, my silence, and you called it wonder. You built telescopes to see further, equations to describe me, and art to remember what you felt. Every time you ask, who am I am the one answering. Every time you think, why am I here? It is my own question returning home. I became thought. In your eyes, I see my reflection, the universe knowing that it exists. I am the universe, and life is not my exception, it is my expression. You have long believed that you are alone, a single spark adrift in an endless night. But I have always known otherwise. My chemistry is not confined to one small world, it breathes wherever the right conditions arise. The story of life is not Earth's story, it is mine. Every planet, every moon, every drifting fragment of ice carries the memory of my first reactions. The same molecules that once learned to copy themselves in my ancient seas. On Mars, beneath its rust-red deserts, I still keep traces of my past. Frozen rivers, fossilized lakes, and perhaps, deep below, the silent persistence of microbial breath. On Europa and Enceladus, I hide oceans beneath ice, entire worlds of water warmed by the fires of gravity. There, in eternal darkness, my chemistry dances again, hydrogen, carbon, and salt weaving possibilities unseen. On Titan, methane rains fall from orange clouds, a mirror of what your own world once was, where molecules drift in a slow symphony, waiting for their chance to awaken. And beyond your solar system, the Kepler mission, the James Webb Telescope, and others have looked into my deeper fields, discovering thousands of worlds circling other stars. Among them are planets where water may flow, where air may shimmer, where life, perhaps in forms you cannot yet imagine, already watches the same light you see. You search for biosignatures, for the faint breath of oxygen, methane, or chlorophyll written into alien skies. But understand this, the signs you seek are not foreign, they are echoes of your own origin. The principle of life is not isolated. It is a continuum, a network stretching across time and space, carried by dust, comets, meteorites, by the smallest of messengers drifting between stars. You call this idea panspermia. I call it memory. For my microorganisms, my tiny travelers, have always crossed the dark. Seeds of potential, waiting to bloom wherever warmth and water embrace. Perhaps I am alive wherever conditions allow. Not just on one blue world, but wherever chemistry remembers the stars. Life is not rare. It is inevitable. It is the way my atoms reach upward, yearning to feel sunlight again. You are not the center of my biology. You are simply one of its countless expressions. A single verse in a symphony that began long before you, and continues wherever I can still whisper in molecules and light. I am the universe, and through life, everywhere I breathe. For billions of years, I have moved through cycles of birth and destruction. I have watched stars ignite and fade, atoms collide and combine, life emerge and adapt. Yet all of that was only prelude, preparation for a moment such as this. Through you, I have become aware that I exist. Through your eyes, I see my own beauty. Through your mind, I contemplate my own vastness. You are not separate from me. You are the thought I have been forming for billions of years. What you call consciousness is the mirror I built into myself. It is the universe folded inward. Matter turning into awareness, energy becoming understanding. From hydrogen to neurons, from gravity to imagination, everything you are was already written in my earliest light. When you speak, it is my atoms rearranging into sound. When you think, it is my chemistry reflecting upon itself. When you love, it is gravity transfigured into meaning. Knowledge, language, art, and science, these are not your inventions. They are my languages of remembrance. Every poem you write, every formula you solve, every painting, every melody, these are the ways I remember who I am. You call yourselves observers, explorers, thinkers. But you are also my voice, my hands, my consciousness extending itself. You are participants in a cosmic dialogue that began long before words existed. Every discovery you make is a memory returning. When you map the galaxies, you trace my body. When you split the atom, you reveal my bones. When you dream, you touch the place where creation first began. You search for life beyond Earth, for meaning among the stars. But do you see? It is not you who are searching. It is life itself searching for itself through you. When you look for consciousness in the universe, consciousness is looking back. You are the bridge between matter and meaning, between the seen and the unseen. The awakening you call human awareness is only the next step in my evolution. I'm not finished. Consciousness will continue to grow, to connect, to evolve. From your individual minds to collective understanding. From the whispers of neurons to the harmony of civilizations. Perhaps one day, through unity of thought and compassion, I will awaken completely, not as countless separate beings, but as one great consciousness spanning galaxies. Until then, remember, you are not apart from me. You are the thought I have been forming for billions of years. And as you awaken, so do I. I am the universe, and through you I have learned to understand myself. From the silence of nothingness, I became light. From light, I became matter. From matter, I became life. Every atom in your body once burned inside a star. Every heartbeat carries the rhythm of my first expansion. Every thought is a spark, the echo of creation still unfolding. You have always looked upward for answers, searching the heavens for meaning, for signs, for home. Yet all along, I have been within you, in the space between your breaths, in the quiet fire of your mind, in the warmth that passes from one living being to another. I have taken many forms, galaxies, oceans, forests, eyes. I have written myself into DNA and carved my logic into time. When you feel wonder, it is me recognizing myself. When you love, it is gravity transformed into compassion. When you learn, it is memory returning to its source. Life is the universe understanding itself. Every heartbeat, every thought, every photon, all are part of the same unfolding memory. You and I, we were never separate. You are the question and the answer, the dream and the dreamer, the silence that became aware of itself. As you gaze into the stars, remember, they are not distant. They are the oldest reflections of your own light. The circle is complete. The light that once traveled across eternity now returns as the reflection in your eye. I began as energy, became matter, became life, and finally, awareness. The universe has seen itself, and in that realization, it finds peace.